The world is filled with stories, tales whispered around campfires, legends passed down through generations. But some stories are more than just folklore. Some stories are rooted in reality, their tendrils reaching out from the darkness to touch our lives. This is the story of one such artifact, the Debbuk box, a simple wooden wine cabinet harboring a terrifying secret, a malevolent entity trapped within its confines, desperate to break free. This is not a tale for the faint of heart. It is a chilling chronicle of paranormal activity, unexplained phenomena, and a darkness that defies rational explanation. It is a story that will leave you questioning the nature of reality itself. Are you ready to face the chilling truth of the Debbuk box? Prepare yourself, for once you delve into this story, there's no turning back. The darkness has a way of clinging to those who dare to explore its depths. Our story begins in 2001 with a man named Kevin Mannis. Kevin was an antique dealer with a keen eye for unique and unusual objects. He had spent years scouring estate sales, flea markets and antique shops, always on the lookout for items that held a story, a piece of history, or simply something that stood out from the ordinary. One crisp autumn morning, he found himself drawn to an estate sale in Portland, Oregon. The sale was bustling with people, each hoping to find their own treasure among the remnants of someone else's life. Little did he know that this seemingly ordinary event would change his life forever. As he wandered through the crowded rooms, his eyes scanning the various items on display, something unusual caught his attention. Amongst the mundane items, a strange and intriguing object caught his eye, a small, unassuming wooden wine cabinet. It was unlike anything he had seen before, and he felt an inexplicable pull towards it. The cabinet was crafted from plain wood, its surface worn with time. The wood had a certain patina, a testament to its age and the many hands that had touched it over the years. The auctioneer's words echoed through the room, revealing the cabinet's origins. It was said to have belonged to a Holocaust survivor, a woman who had escaped the horrors of Nazi Germany. This woman had brought the cabinet with her to America, clutching it tightly as she stepped onto American soil. It was one of the few possessions she had managed to save from her previous life. The cabinet had been her silent companion through the darkest times, a relic of her past that she could not bear to part with. It held memories, secrets, and perhaps something more sinister. Before her death, she whispered a single chilling warning to those around her: do not open it. Her words were filled with a sense of urgency and fear, as if she knew the true nature of what lay inside. Despite the eerie warning, Mannis found himself inexplicably drawn to the cabinet. It was as if the object had a life of its own, calling out to him, begging to be taken home. The cabinet emanated an odd energy, a palpable aura of dread and despair. It was almost as if the wood itself was alive, pulsating with a dark and malevolent force. Driven by a collector's curiosity and perhaps a touch of morbid fascination, Mannis decided to purchase the cabinet. He handed over the money, feeling a strange mix of excitement and trepidation. He took it home, unaware that he had invited a malevolent entity into his life. The cabinet, with its dark history and ominous presence, would soon reveal its true nature, bringing with it a series of events that would forever alter Mannis's life. Back in his workshop, Mannis carefully examined his new acquisition. The dim light cast eerie shadows on the walls, making the atmosphere even more unsettling. He'd always been drawn to the mysterious and the unknown, but this time something felt different. There was an inexplicable weight in the air, a sense of foreboding that he couldn't shake off. The wooden cabinet felt cold to the touch, radiating a strange chill that seemed to seep into his bones. It was as if the cabinet itself was alive, breathing out an icy mist that wrapped around his fingers and sent shivers down his spine. Mannis had never encountered anything like it before, and the sensation was both fascinating and terrifying. He noticed that the cabinet had no lock, no hinges, no visible way to open it. It was a seamless piece of craftsmanship, almost as if it had been carved from a single block of wood. The lack of any apparent mechanism to open it only deepened the mystery, making Manis even more determined to uncover its secrets. It was as if it was designed to remain sealed, its contents forever hidden from view. The more he looked at it, the more he felt that whatever was inside was not meant to be disturbed. Yet, the allure of the unknown was too strong to resist. He couldn't help but wonder what kind of secrets or treasures could be locked away inside such an enigmatic object. Curiosity gnawed at him. He had to know what secrets lay hidden within. The questions swirling in his mind were relentless. Who had created this cabinet? Why had it been sealed so meticulously? And most importantly, what was inside? These thoughts consumed him, driving him to find a way to open it. Driven by an insatiable curiosity, Manis searched for a way to open the box. He examined every inch of the cabinet, running his fingers over the smooth surface, looking for any sign of a hidden mechanism. Hours passed, but he refused to give up. His determination was fueled by the mystery that lay before him. Finally, he discovered a small hidden latch. It was so well concealed that he almost missed it. The latch was intricately designed, blending seamlessly with the wood. Manis's heart raced as he realized he was one step closer to unveiling the cabinet's secrets. As he pressed it, he felt a resistance, a palpable sense of dread that seemed to emanate from the box itself. It was as if the cabinet was warning him, urging him to stop, but Manis's curiosity was too strong. He pushed through the resistance, determined to see what lay inside. With a heavy heart and a growing sense of unease, he opened the cabinet. The air around him seemed to grow colder, and the shadows in the room deepened. He hesitated for a moment, questioning whether he was making a mistake, but it was too late to turn back now. Inside, he found a collection of bizarre and unsettling objects. Each item seemed to tell a story, a fragment of a larger, darker narrative. The sight of these objects sent a chill down his spine, and he couldn't shake the feeling that he had stumbled upon something that was never meant to be found. A dried rose, its petals withered and brown. The rose looked ancient, as if it had been plucked from its stem centuries ago. It was a haunting reminder of something long lost, a symbol of decay and forgotten memories. A lock of hair tied with a faded ribbon. The hair was brittle and fragile, the ribbon frayed and discolored with age. It was a personal and intimate relic, hinting at a story of love, loss, or perhaps something more sinister. A small candlestick, its metal tarnished with age. The candlestick was heavy and cold, its surface marred by time. It seemed out of place among the other items, yet it carried an air of significance, as if it had once been part of some dark ritual. And a small granite slab inscribed with Hebrew writing. The inscriptions were worn and difficult to read, but they exuded an ancient power. Manis could feel the weight of history in the slab, a connection to a time long past and a culture steeped in mystery. The air grew thick with an oppressive silence, broken only by the sound of Manis's own ragged breathing. The room seemed to close in around him, the walls pressing in as if to suffocate him. He could feel the presence of something unseen, watching him, waiting. In that moment he knew that he had unleashed something sinister into the world. The realization hit him like a punch to the gut, leaving him breathless and terrified. He had opened a door that should have remained closed, and now there was no telling what horrors he had set free. Unbeknownst to Manis, the cabinet was no ordinary antique. It had a dark history, one that spanned generations and continents. This was not just a piece of furniture, it was a vessel of ancient malevolent power. It was a Debbuk box, a vessel used in Jewish folklore to trap a malevolent spirit, a Debbuk. These boxes were created with meticulous care, often by rabbis or mystics, to contain the restless spirits that could not find peace. The Debbuk is not a human soul. It is a dark, twisted entity, born of pain and suffering. Unlike ghosts, which are often the spirits of the deceased, a Debbuk is something far more sinister. It is a restless, malicious entity driven by an insatiable hunger for chaos and destruction. It thrives on fear and despair, seeking to spread its malevolence wherever it can. It seeks to possess the living, feeding off their energy and twisting their souls. The Debbuk's influence can turn even the kindest person into a vessel of its dark will. The objects inside the box were not mere trinkets. Each item had a purpose, a role in the ritual to bind the Debbuk. They were carefully chosen to create a barrier, a prison, for the malevolent spirit. They were talismans placed there to bind the Debbuk, to keep it trapped within its wooden prison. These talismans were inscribed with ancient Hebrew texts, prayers and incantations meant to hold the spirit at bay. By opening the box, Manis had broken this delicate balance. He had unknowingly disrupted the ancient seals, releasing the Debbuk from its confinement. He had unwittingly released the Debbuk back into the world, where it was free to wreak havoc once more. The atmosphere around him grew heavy, as if the very air was charged with dark energy. At first, the changes were subtle. A flicker of shadows in the corner of his eye, a sudden chill that made the hairs on his arms stand on end, a feeling of unease, a prickling sensation on the back of his neck. It was as if he was being watched, followed by an unseen presence, but soon the phenomena intensified. The once familiar surroundings of his workshop began to feel alien and threatening. Objects moved inexplicably in his workshop. Tools and trinkets would shift positions, sometimes falling off shelves with no apparent cause. Strange, sulphurous smells permeated the air. The scent was thick and acrid, filling his nostrils and making it hard to breathe. He began to experience vivid nightmares filled with shadowy figures and whispering voices. These dreams were so real, so intense, that he would wake up drenched in sweat, his heart pounding in his chest. Manis tried to rationalize these events, to dismiss them as tricks of his imagination. He told himself that stress and lack of sleep were playing tricks on his mind, but deep down he knew the truth. The Debbuk was real, and it was growing stronger with each passing day. He had awakened something evil, something ancient and powerful, and now he had to find a way to stop it before it consumed him completely.